What's up, otakus? We just ended a stream where I went over the mid-tier 20 books out of the top 60 books that we picked up in 2023. So go check that out when you have a chance. A lot of big books there. It was a good time. Now, this video is going to focus on books that are available for trade. Now, I have a bunch of books available for trade, so if you're ever really curious about what I have, just shoot me a message either in the comments or on Instagram. Instagram is the best place because we can chat. That's what's great. We can chat and put a deal together and all that, and that's fun. So it's actually a lot of fun. So if you're watching this and you have some books you think I'd like, Jim Lee, Neil Adams, Peach Momoko, Brian Bolland, doesn't matter the value of the book. If they're by those artists, I want those books. So those are books that I'm willing to trade, all this stuff for. And again, I'll give you a lot more value um, to make the deal better for you. So again, these are just 10 books. I have more that available, but for these videos, I feel like it's easier to watch and digest 10 books, like a list of books, and kind of see, oh, okay, hey, I want that one. And then we can build from there. Or you can get the lot as is. Um, if you like all 10 books, feel free to say, I'll take all 10 books, and, you know, we could do it. Again, I want to, get rid of the books. So if you want do like a 10 for 1 or 10 for 2 or 10 for 3, that's fine. I don't want to do a 10 for 10. There's just no um, rhyme or reason to that. I do want to give you 10 books for like one book, or 10 for 2 or 3 if the value's not there. Okay. All right. So having said that, we're going to go over the books. For those of you Johnny Desjardins fans, Johnny Desjardins is sort of an exclusive artist that if you do the Comic Tom 101 monthly uh, subscription books, he's an artist that they get to do exclusives on their channel. We got some great covers. We got Maleficent #1, signed by Scott Desjardins. Also, Darkwing Duck #1, signed by John Desjardins. Both are signed books. Both are available as part of this available lot. I'm going to just do more lots. So ultimately, if you just watch a bunch of lot videos, you can kind of pick and choose what you want. But this one is a very high grade copy. It just does have a corner issue. That's Blood Strike #1. It's got the blood on the cover, the infamous Rub the Blood cover. But yeah, as you can see in the corner there's like a little bend and a color break. But other than that, it's really high grade. So, it's a high grade book. It's just got that corner issue. It has a cardstock, so I don't know if you'll be able to press it out, but it does have a little color break to it right there. If you want to be transparent. We've got great VF copy, maybe a fine copy. Yeah, VF copy of a new standard edition of X Factor 62. Great Jim Lee cover there. Havoc, X Factor, Wolverine, Jubilee, 90s goodness, or late 80s goodness, I should say. Oh no, 1990. Early 90s goodness. We've also got X Factor 50, the Liefeld McFarlane collabo. Liefeld Todd McFarlane collabo newsstand. This one's also in the VF range. Yeah, they're both in the maybe VF minus range. This one is a VF copy. Don't mind the sticker on here. It's just, I take it off just to not have it be a distraction. It is, again, VF copy, newsstand, What If 34. This is just a funny cover. It's got all these like, it's a Bob Layton cover. Got all these like superheroes doing weird, funky stuff. So if you like these kinds of funny covers, this is a great one. So What If number 34. Newsstand. Got oh, this is a great one. Punisher. This is near mint. Punisher number 1 near mint. This is just a cover, simple A cover, with the original skull design that the skull design people were bitching about. This is VF Plus copy, maybe a VF copy of Ms. Marvel. Great Frank Cho cover. Frank Cho is just like, he just does like busty women really well. That's his like calling card. Busty women. That's what we have here. Busty Ms. Marvel cover there. It's available. And these ones, don't mind it. I've got them in like double bagged in this thing, so I'll try to make it as visible as possible. We've got Astonishing X-Men. This is a VF Plus copy. Astonishing X-Men number 3. Great Wolverine cover there. And then we've got, this is a key issue, the first appearance of Danger. What is it? The Danger Room come to life. Which is apparently supposedly the villain in Deadpool 3. We'll see. There's a great sort of an eerie cover there with all the skulls. Astonishing X-Men number 9. These are both direct editions. I would probably want to trade these as a set, so I don't have to. I don't have to like. I can just send it to you like this. I don't want to take it out and all that. Now, again, this entire, I would like to do just what you see here, like 10 books to you for whatever you offer. Again, I'm into Neil Adams, Mark, like Copper Age Mark Silvestri books. Definitely Jim Lee books. Any kind of variant, any kind of like Jim Lee. The rarer, the better. I pretty much have most of the Marvel stuff. A lot of the early DC stuff I have. So, yeah, I mean, Jim Lee might be a harder thing to offer, because I'll probably be like, oh, I have that, I have that, I have that, I have that, I have that. So, I mean, unless it's something kind of more obscure, I'm gonna have a lot of it. Peach Momoko is a good. I probably don't have a lot of Peach Momoko stuff, so a lot of the stuff you have may be something I would want in my collection. Peach Momoko is great. Brian Bolland, if you got Brian Bolland Wonder Woman, this is your jam right here. I want as much Brian Bolland Wonder Woman as I can get my hands on. Anything from that Wonder Woman run or Wolverine 1 through 50, anything from there, anything X-Men 200 to 300. Again, not Jim Lee stuff, more toward the Mark Silvestri stuff there. Stuff like that. If you got stuff like that, that's kind of what I'm interested in. John Byrne, Fantastic Four. Although I've got a lot of issues now, so we probably overlap at some point, but that's good to offer as well. So yeah, that's a quick lot of what's available for trade right now. Now, I'm going to be putting out more of these lot videos because, again, I'm just kind of catering 10 books at a time rather than going through like hundreds in one badly, position. I'm like digging like this and showing the books and sit in front of the camera and just do a nice little curated list of things. So yeah, just message me, message me on Instagram or comment if you see something you like. Again, I'll kind of give preference to people who want the whole lot for just a few bucks. I'm not looking for I'm not looking for full value on any of these books. I'd say like if you can offer somewhere like the $50 for 10 books, if you can offer somewhere in the $50-$60 trade value range, we could probably put a deal together. And again, I'll be putting out more of these lots. So the more lots we put out, and if you say, hey, I just want that book, like books from that lot, books from this lot, books from that lot, we can put together a deal. But it really is like first come, first serve kind of thing. If you come to me and say, I want all 10, as opposed to like coming and saying, I just want one book, I'm going to obviously give the person preference on who wants all 10 in the deal. And again, these are nice books. I mean, you got some signed books. You've got 90s goodness all throughout here. You got this What If from cover, Key Punisher modern book, another modern first issue, keys here, Astonishing X-Men keys. So a lot of good stuff here. So again, if you're interested, send me a message and let's get a deal going. All right. Not much going on outside of that. I just went on a rant earlier about how CGC basically has screwed itself. Screwed its business model essentially with just poor planning. I can't see anybody wanting to buy a slab, even from a trusted seller. I mean, this just kills the resale market, at least the slab resale market, until CGC gets its shit together, which could take months to a year, right? But yeah, they should really. First of all, they need to improve the tamper-proof capacity of this current design model. They got to really make it like tamper-proof, like where if it cracks and breaks, it's going to trigger something, but you just can't have people cutting into it and slipping in and out what they want. Otherwise, it's just got to go through regrading, right? And you got to pay. You just got to pay to do it over. But yeah, until they get that whole mess sorted out, it's like, who has confidence to go and buy a graded book now? Even a 9.2. Are you really getting a 9.2? Are you really getting a 9.8? Are you really getting a 9.9? You know, it's like just all these questions. Is that 9.9 census accurate? Is the 9.8 census accurate? All these, like, they just basically took a big shat on their business model. And it's going to reverberate to all the great. I mean, it's not like CBCS is any better, right? They essentially just copied what CGC is doing. So it's like the whole slab market is kind of screwed right now. And that will happen, you know. There are people who bought EFTs, didn't see that was a pyramid scheme, and bought EFTs and sat on it rather than cashing out. Just all kinds of these kinds of things happen, and you just have to have the market readjust itself. But I think in terms of slab sales, they're dead for now. I would. You'd be a fool to buy it, especially especially if you didn't have it in front of you. If you're buying a slab off eBay right now, man, you deserve what you get. Why would you do that, man? Don't do it. Be smart. Why don't we put while we're at it, let's put another lot together. Let's put another, I only put these little lots together, so let's put another lot together. All right, so this first lot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here in the back. So I can just remember it's in the back there. All right, we're going to put lot number 2 together. Just going to pull a bunch of books out. All right. So lot number 2, we're going to go with we got some pretty good books for lot number 2. All right. Some of these books are not available. They're just in my overflow box because they're in my overflow box. This book. I'm going to trade that book for these books. I mean, we'll trade these eventually. I just want to hold on to them a little longer than giving them away now. All right. Second lot. You've got a Copper Age Supergirl volume. This is a nice Rick Buckler Supergirl. Now, what bugs me about this Supergirl cover, I love the cover. It's great. But the boobs are like, the boobs just aren't, they're a little lopsided, or like they're not symmetrical. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. The boobs are asymmetrical, and then that's well within, like, not all women are symmetrical in that respect. Okay, that's nature. But I would imagine Supergirl wouldn't fall into that category. You'd want Supergirl to have symmetrical boobs. So yeah, if you want Buckler's asymmetrical Supergirl boob cover, you got that there. Then we've got Gen 13, the Rave variant. Raise your hand if you went to a rave. Come on, don't be shy. I know some of you have probably gone to a rave and done some questionable stuff, okay? We've got another Supergirl #1. I like this cover. This is she's holding her Supergirl skateboard with Batman Watchmen stickers on there. Pretty cool. This is a great Peter David run. We've got Spider-Gwen 18. Great cover there. Probably Rodriguez cover. We've got, I want to keep that one. We've got Wanted #1. But this isn't just any Wanted #1. It's the Wizard World Texas exclusive. Now, apparently, this has been limited to 5,000 copies. So if Wanted 1 ever gets picked up, we see it on the big screen or on streaming, subscriptions. You want to have this copy, obviously. High grade copy. Looks like a VF copy. Issue #1. Sex Bunny Superpowers costume. You want it. All right. It's part of this lot. How many books we got so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books in the lot so far. Great Adam Hughes cover here. We got X-Men Wildcats. The Modern Age Adam Hughes. Wolverine and Voodoo. Great cover there. Adam Hughes goodness. I love Adam Hughes, just not one of my favorite artists. He is one of my favorite artists, just not one of the top people. Travis Charest is one of my favorite artists, and I feel like he doesn't get enough credit. But this one I'm keeping. I'm just gonna show it off. It's Wildcats 18 Travis Charest cover. Absolutely stunning. I'm gonna keep this one though. It's not part of the lot. This one is Adam Hughes Wonder Woman, the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman cover. This is for this is the Wonder Woman 84 major motion picture variant for Wonder Woman Future State #1. Beautiful cover. Yeah, kind of shades of Gal Gadot there, I guess. Love the these rays coming off her bodice there. They're reflecting off her. Are those bullets? No. It's just her brilliance shining through. So how many books is that? We got 7 books so far, I guess. Part of this lot, we've got Young Blood #1, Rob Liefeld classic. This is the second printing, the lesser printed second printing. And what else we got? I'll throw in Youngblood 0. Throw that in for you Youngblood fans. Rob Liefeld fans. We got some Jim Lee goodness. We got Dollar Comics, Jim Lee, Justice League $1 comic. Countdown to Infinite Crisis, dollar comic. It's $1, and it's not a dollar comic. It's just the dollar cover price. And we've got Infinite Crisis #1, the dollar comic. So 3 books right there. So that's lot number 2. For those of you keeping track at home. And again, feel free to request a mix mash. To make it a trade worthwhile, I at least want to send out at least 5 to 10 books in that range. Just because shipping is going to cost $4 flat, like $4 to $5 for about 10 books. So yeah, and also I want to just, the whole point of this exercise is to not only get stuff I want, but get rid of a lot of these books to get a few books in return. In fact, if you want this whole 20 book lot for like just this couple books, I am open to doing that. So no, these are books I want to keep. So we want to keep those books. I'm going to trade these books. So I'm going to put this in the trade pile here. Let's see here. Purple duck. There. That in the trade pile will be good. All right. So these books will go in the keep pile. Then in the back of here. Should we keep going? Should we put another lot together here and mix and match? Let me see here. Let's see what we can pull out. Oh yeah, some Spider-Man books. Let's do Spider-Man and Batman. Why not? They're very popular. This will garner some interest, I'm sure. Yeah, let's take a look at that one. And some Batman books here. All right. We are going to... Well, okay, so this isn't a lot per se. This is not a lot. I am just going to show off. We're going to go through the Batman books. And the Spider-Man books. All right, so there's this sort of a hodgepodge of stuff. We'll just... These are... Hey, what's up, Kenneth? Yeah, again, I'm just going over stuff that's available for trade. Pretty much what this book is about. And I'm going to do it so you guys can kind of see the book. And if you're in the chat, you can ask about the grades. And I try to tell you what the grades are. Just assume everything's VF unless I say something. Let's put it that way. This is more of a fine. Yeah, both of these copies are the fine territory. We've got Batman 340 and 341, I believe. Yeah, 340 and 341. Just great Jim Aparo covers. Jim Aparo is pretty much my Batman growing up. I mean, it transitioned from Jim Aparo to name's not coming to me right now. The guy who did the 90s artist. Can't think of his name right now. It'll come to me. But anyway, just good run filler Batmans here at 340, 341. 80s goodness. That's available. I love this cover. Maybe I should keep this one. No, we'll get rid of it because it is in my overflow box. All right, so we've got Batman 430 newsstand. Near mint. Oh, no. Yeah, near mint. That's the bag. Yeah, near mint copy on this one. Love the color. Love the background there, the color on that. This artist is Federic. Something. This is a key issue. Great Mignola cover too. This is a VF copy. That is Batman 452. Got a newsstand. Okay, great Mignola cover there. Beautiful stuff. This is from my original collection. I'm gonna keep that one. We've got next 686, great Alex Ross, Alfred the Butler. Whatever happened to the Cape Crusader? Near mint copy there. Batman 700. Great David Finch cover. Yeah, Finch. You want to talk about like Jim Lee proteges? You got Jason Fabok, you got David Finch. These guys, man, you know, they're obviously, I mean, they have their own style and very dynamic in a lot of ways. You know, they do things better than Jim Lee in a lot of ways. But yeah, I mean, you can just see the influence. But that is just an incredible cover there. Milestone issue. Batman 700. Dude, I just saw this. Greg Capullo is doing Spider-Man, and I saw this sick, I don't know if it's a cover or just a panel, but it's basically this like web tube that's Spider-Man zipping through that Capullo put out. Man, it looks dope. Yeah, Capullo is just hands down a better artist than Todd McFarlane. I'm just gonna flat out. I mean, Todd brought him in to do Spawn, okay, and he did Spawn better than Todd. But he kept it. He drew purposefully like Todd McFarlane. He like purposefully, changed his artwork to mimic Todd McFarlane's art style. So, the fans of buying Spawn, there wouldn't be this like severed disconnect between what was previously introduced and what was ongoing. But yeah, when Capullo took over Batman, it was like, that was him. That was like, this is me. This is how I draw Spawn. I mean, eventually Capullo had his own style and grew into his own style in Spawn, which is fine, but it was still Spawn, right? We really get like actually Batman you can make the arguments. It's kind of there's similarities to Spawn and Batman with the cape work and whatnot, but you really get there's a beautiful. I want to keep this one actually. All right, we're gonna keep this one. That one is off the block. Mind you, these books were part of my collection. These aren't books I'm looking to sell or trade or anything. These are like in my Batman collection, but my collection's grown to the point where it's like, okay, I want to collect these things and have these things be a part of my collection. At some point, you have to like give something up, right? So I'm like, I can't collect every Batman issue. Maybe focus on keys and cool artwork. And that's where we landed. So a lot of these books, I'm just like reluctantly trading and offering to get more of what I really kind of want to collect, as opposed to like these are things I'm willing to give up. So don't think of it like, oh, I just want to throw these things out. No, it's like I got these for a reason because they're just freaking cool. And we mentioned David Finch earlier, and we got in the same vein. If we're talking about Jim Lee proteges, I don't know anybody who conveys Jim Lee's style more than Jason Fabok. This is just this cool lenticular cover here. Batman, Flash. I got the Watchmen button there. Very cool cover. That is available, reluctantly available. Man, I'm going to keep this one too. This one we're keeping. We've got, this is a key issue, The Death of Alfred. Death of Alfred. Batman 77. You're meant to copy there. This is a key issue. Batman 604. Newsstand. VF copy. Mud Pack. Part 1. Got the first Anarchy. VF copy there. First Anarchy. Another Legacy milestone issue. This is Detective Comics 700. It's in this nice envelope cover case or cover. Pretty cool. It's high grade. Yeah, high grade book. Detective Comics 700. Yeah. Detective Comics. All right. This is VF copy. Comics 873. Great job cover there. That's a nice job cover. Not just good. It's a nice job cover. Here's another nice job cover. This is the last book. I mean, they returned to the Legacy count, but this is the last volume 1 of Detective Comics, which is just ludicrous to me. Like, why would you ever end the Legacy run on something like Detective Comics, Action Comics for that matter? But yeah, they do end it here, and then they restart it at some point again. But this is the end of one of the longest lines of comic books. High grade copy. Another beautiful jock cover there. Boom. That's available. You got Detective Comics 27, the Frank Miller Catwoman cover, the Catwoman variant. Now, say what you will about Frank Miller. There's a lot of sort of just poor artwork by Frank Miller. I should say a lot, but there are some really just bad examples of like poor artwork. I think Frank Miller is a guy who just isn't the most talented artist, but depending on like who his inkers are, or if he's really just kind of dedicated to doing something like a nice cover or something, he can put out some really great art. So I'm not going to put him in the like he's a terrible artist category, but there's just a lack of consistency, I think, there. So like he wants to be good, he can be good. It's just sometimes he doesn't put the effort forward. This one, however, goes in the good category. It's a Catwoman cover. She's on all fours. Okay, so when you gotta imagine this cover. First of all, she's got like a fishnet, got like a mesh suit going on here. Okay. This is Madame Blaster vibes for some reason. Just that looks like Madame Blaster right there. But the cat eyes, just a beautiful cover here. Frank Miller doesn't get a lot of credit for great covers, but he's put out some amazing covers over his career. So this is no different on a key book. So yeah, that's available. Again, it's available. This one's key for those Batman animated series fans. It's the Mask of the Phantasm. This is the official movie adaptation. Now this one, I had always thought about sending this one in. You know, you're not going to be able to tell the grade through the book, you know, like, so I'm just, again, for the most part, like some of these are near mint. This is near mint. This one is near mint as well. Yeah, it's a clean book. But this one here, this is like 9.8 candidate near mint. It's just such a flawless book. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to see it because the bag is like, you can see there's like bag creases and stuff, and you just don't get a sense of the actual book, but the book is flawless. And why? So the reason I'm pointing out, like normally I wouldn't take time to focus on such a high grade book, but this is a 90s newsstand Batman Adventures. I believe it's a key book too. It's like the first appearance of a key character, key Batman ally in this series. But it's a newsstand, and it's a 9.8 quality. So forget what I said about like not, you know, the slab mark and all that. If you want to get the slab, feel free to get slab. Because if it comes back a 9.8, this book will be probably, you know, it'll be at least 10 times more than what its direct edition cost. At least 10, right? So probably more if it comes back a 9.8. It'll just shoot that value up. Again, 90s newsstand 9.8 candidate right here. So this one, while it is available for trade, just keep that in mind. Like, I'm not the biggest Batman Adventures fan. It really skipped my generation because I was too old to be watching cartoons. It came out while I was in college. Never got into it. I did watch a couple episodes, and it was really, it was entertaining for a cartoon. It was like definitely better quality, better writing, better stories than your typical animated series. I wish I had been a kid and could enjoy that, like that, you know, um, jump in quality. And I do realize for kids who did grow up watching this, how, you know, how valuable something like this would be. But yeah, this is in the kind of like rare collectible type books that you want in your collection, right? 90s newsstand. So you're going to get just a lower print count, plus it's in high grade. These things, they're newsstands. That's great. But is it going to be like flawless? That's what you got here. You got a flawless freaking book there. So if you're smart, that's something you probably would want to add. This is the opposite of high grade. This is a very low grade book, but we're talking about Ben Reilly earlier. This is the first appearance of Ben Reilly. It's a complete book. If I could just show you the bottom half, sell you the bottom half, that'd be great. But of course, this is probably like a 0.5, given all that cover damage there. I don't know what's going on here. I don't even know how. You couldn't even do this with an eraser. I don't know if the kid drew something, but there's no pencil marks or anything. It's just weird. It's like some chemical got on there, and the guy just rubbed it or something with like something that messed with the ink. But it's a low grade book, the lowest of low grades, but it's a key book. So I'll let you value this as you see fit. I put the value probably around $2, $2 or $3. That's as high as I'm gonna go. This is a book from these are 2 books from my original collection. And so first we got Cable #1. And I was just commenting in my last video how Cable was the character that everybody wanted to collect and read. The new guy on the block that was just everybody's favorite. I can't speak for, subsequent generations, but my generation, if you're reading comic books, Cable was your guy, right? And in that same token, Sabretooth was the villain, right? I mean, he was the arch nemesis to Wolverine. Or Wolverine. So these are 2 books that I actually bought off these aren't, so I bought these at the comic shop, but I'm saying like bought off the rack and added to my collection. This first Cable, man, it's a VF Plus copy, only because the cardstock cover is so hard to keep even through the bag, it's so hard to keep high grade. But there's just a couple minor spine ticks. These are both really high grade books that I've just kept in really nice condition. I'm not going to put this on the trading block yet. They may end up there, but for now, just too much nostalgia on those particular copies. Don't want to give those up. All right, we've got Spider-Verse Part 4 and Spider-Verse Part 5. This is, I think, Volume 2 of Spider-Verse. Key issues there. Those are available. This is a key issue. First, Billy Morales, who we haven't seen in the MCU yet, but all indications are little sister is going to be a bad guy or gal. So lots of spec potential there at the first appearance of Billy. It's like I think it's a $30 book now. It used to be a $50 book. This is another one from my original collection. We'll start with this one. Doom, number 3. It's available high grade. This one, not a key issue, but this was like such a key issue when it first came out. This was like it's a Hobgoblin cover, first of all. It's a beautiful Hobgoblin cover by Al Milgrom. This was like a big book when it first came out. Just over the years, it's kind of lost its value. Again, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, 85, Hobgoblin, Black Cat issue. This is another book from my original collection, and super high grade. Yeah, I mean, this is a near mint copy. Just like minutest of spine ticks there. See how clean that is. Corners are sharp. Show you the corner there. Sharp corners. We'll keep it. Like telling you I'm trading books and then I'm like reneging. These are available. We got Spectacular Black Suit Spidey number 83 or 93, 107. I think these are both key books. Great Milgrom. This is a Rick Buckler cover. This is a Milgrom cover. Great artists, great Spider-Man artists. Dun, 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 dun. This one I've been trying to like get people to buy in on. It's a limited to 2,500 copies. I forget the artist's name. It's a talented artist, kind of drawn in this like, this like Scotty Young kind of style, like cute, kawaii. Great city backdrop. Love the colors on this. Great cover. Again, it's a Things from Another World exclusive. Only 2,500 of these produced for ASM number 1 variant edition. It's a nice book. Okay, so this is the last of the Spider-Man's Web of Spider-Man. 48 key book. I forget what the key on this one is. And then Maximum Carnage Part 2. Great Carnage cover there. Nice Mark Bagley cover. Or sorry, Alex Saviak cover. Nice Alex Saviak cover there. 90s goodness. And that is all I want to show off for the time being. Oh, Agu's here. Maybe we'll show off. I showed off all my Batman books, dude. I can do it again where you can rewatch the video, but why don't you rewatch the video? I don't want to go through the books again. But do you collect, Agu, do you collect Batman Adventures? I imagine you would. I think you're in that generation that collected Batman Adventures. Do you collect Batman Adventures? Merry Christmas, by the way, dude. I miss you, man. You do? Okay. Let me know if you want this book then. I'll go over the significance of it again. In fact, I'm going to take it out for you because I didn't take it out for the people in the previous, but I'm taking it out for you because I like you. All right, so what we got here is, you probably know this book. You probably have this book, to be honest. Yeah, right. So the Gray Ghost, that's who I couldn't think of. This is the first appearance of Gray Ghost. But it's a 9/8 candidate. Okay, and I'm not joking around when I say it's a 9/8 candidate. I'll show you. I can get up real close. Now, this isn't a bag, mind you, but let's see. This is the spine. Okay. So we can get a good angle there. Is it coming into focus? There we go. Okay. Really, really, really clean. Okay, really clean book. If you see any imperfections, that's the bag. Okay. Okay, clean spine, sharp corners. Okay, so 9/8 candidate, but it's a newsstand. Okay. High grade newsstand for a 90s book. This is what, 96. Okay. So we're talking about really low print count. This is pretty much when newsstands had died in the 90s. So you're not going to find a lot of these newsstands. You'll find a few of them, but they won't be high grade because they're on newsstands. So this is a 9/8 candidate. I just went through a whole rant saying you probably don't want to grade books right now, or don't want to buy slabs right now, until CGC gets its shit together. But it is available for trade if you want to trade for it. But mind you, I'm gonna, I know what I have, and it's not like I'm gonna treat this like it's like a $5 or $1 book kind of thing. This is high value stuff right here, because we're talking about a newsstand that's a key issue. It's a beloved series. So I know you have this, right? You probably have this, but you probably don't have it in a newsstand. You probably don't have it in high grade newsstand. In fact, I bet you don't have it in that either of those categories. So hit me up if you want it. I'll trade your mid-grade Neil Adams Joker cover for it. I'll trade you this whole overflow box for that book if you want it. It's like 200 comics, dude. You want 200 comics for that book? 200 key comics for that Neil Adams book? I'll do it. I'll just drive over to your place on Christmas, drop the books off, and pick up the Neil Adams book. How's that sound? Not interested? Come on. It's a freaking whole, like 200 plus key books, dude. For a mid-grade Neil Adams. Think about it. I know you're thinking about it right now. I know you're like, yeah, I'll do it. Don't you have like multiple copies of it anyway? What? You hoarding Neil Adams now? What's going on? Merry Christmas, dude. All right, that's I think all the books I want to show off at this point. Just know all those books are available for trade. Got me curious on my copies. I might have 3 of the Batman Adventures. Feliz Navidad, dude. All right, so yeah, if you're interested in any of the books I just showed you, I got more as well. I got a whole freaking my 200 books. There are books that so let me put it this way. So I'm reluctantly, the overflow box is just the overflow box because as I pick up comics and I try to fit them in this filing cabinet I have that maybe you can see the edge here. As we have to figure out what books we want to keep versus what we can want to reluctantly give up, it's a hard decision to make. It's kind of like hopefully you were never forced to choose between your children, but it's kind of like if you had to choose between keeping one child over another, it feels like that. It feels like, all right, we'll give this child up and keep this child. So that's the kind of exercise I went through in terms of putting this overflow box together. They're just, at the end of the day, it's like you have to do that internal calculus of like, okay, what do I really value and want to keep and like really have as part of my collection, as opposed to things that just don't make sense. Like I love the books, these are like books I bought and they're key books and the things I added, but when you have to make that mental decision of keep versus sell or trade, that's kind of where we landed with this overflow box. So there are books here so there's a degree to this box as well. Like there are books that I really would love to just give away and have them off my hands. And then there are other books that I kind of like, if I only had space, I would keep this. And if I did give it away, I know if I do eventually get space, I'd be like clamoring to get that copy back. So that's kind of like, there's a range here. So you saw, I kind of showed off everything I do want to trade. And you saw me put back some issues that I want to keep. So just keep that in mind. The ones I want to keep probably will hang on to them a little bit longer until I can get rid of some of the stuff I want to get rid of first. But pretty much it's all available. So if you offer me, I guess, the right book, nothing is off limits for certain. But yeah, I just love putting together trades. Trades are fun. Aquaman, we should do a trade, dude. Do you have a lot of Jim Lee books that you looking to offload, or Neil Adams books? Put them together, man, and we'll just meet somewhere and pick out. Like, these again, stuff that you don't want. If you want it, never mind. But if there's like Jim Lee books, Neil Adams books, stuff you just having the same issue, you want to get rid of these for new stuff like Batman or Spider-Man stuff. Hit me up. Um, we'll put together something. Yeah, if you have doubles of things, I know you have doubles of that Neil Adams. I don't know why you want to you know, I'll seriously give you this entire box. I mean, it's well over the value of that Neil Adams book. I mean, I've got like Daredevil, Spider Man, Batman, like like signed books. I've got. Um, Here you go. Did you pick up your free signed copies of the Desjardins books from Mill Geek? Go there. They're giving away free Johnny Desjardins. Actually, you probably helped put that thing together. You guys, you like worked over there, but that was pretty cool. Yeah. No, but seriously, if you have space for 200 books, if you're looking to add more books, um, one for 200 is not a bad deal, right? Um, Plus, with the whole CGC debacle, is that really the grade you have at the moment, Agu? Do you trust CGC at this point? Yeah, go get them. Um, yeah. What else? What else is on my mind these days? CGC, obviously, the whole debacle there. Baseball, Mariners suck. Mariners are gonna suck this year. What else? Seahawks suck. Seahawks suck big time. And Sonics are coming back at some point. I think they're talking. We could see them within the next 3 to 4 years. I think it'll be probably longer than that, but my fingers crossed. Um, yeah, they beat the Eagles, but I mean, big deal. They lost to a rec. I mean, are we still in the playoff race? No, I don't think so, right? Um, we lost to the Niners. So assuming we win our last regular season game, which is tomorrow, right? Assuming we win, are we in the playoffs then? I don't think so. So yeah, Gino sucked this year, man. I just signed him to a freaking long ass contract too. I think he's trade bait. I think he's gonna get traded. Mathematically still in, huh? Okay, well, hopefully we make it. Not too stoked about it though. But then again, the playoffs are a whole. If we do make the playoffs, that'll make things interesting again. But we're not playing. No team has really played consistently this season, so I guess one good thing. But we'll see. I'll probably watch the game and see what happens, but not putting money on the game for sure. What else has been going on? Oh, you going to Emerald City Comic Con? It's in February. It's gonna creep up on us real quick. I haven't seen anybody. They haven't announced anybody. That's Jay Lee is the only person I think that I'd be interested in going to get a book signed. And the crazy thing is, um, the Jay Lee book I'd get signed is not actually his book. It's the back cover of Darker Vintage. Because it was an awesome a grifter print by Jay Lee. It's an ad for Grifter. I'd have him sign the back cover of that. That'd be dope. He'd probably get a kick out of it too. The Eagles to lose. Who are the Eagles playing? You're going to be at Elmero. Nice. It's pricey this year, dude. It went up in price. Tell me, am I tripping or did it go up in price? It was like $57 for Sunday. I don't remember paying. I think I paid. Did I pay over $50 for Sunday tickets last year? I think I may have. I think I paid 60 last year, right? Why does it feel more expensive this year than last year? Yeah, but you know, nothing's been a walk in the park this season. Had a lot of upsets throughout the season. Right, the prices went up. Yeah, I feel like Emerald City got a lot of. It was they got a lot of traffic last year. Obviously, with the convention center probably saw the traffic and said, "Hey, you gotta pay up this year." So they just raised the prices on everybody. Um, we'll see. Again, it has to be Jim Lee has to come for me to go. Jim Lee or Peach Momogul, one of those two has to come for me to go. Otherwise, I'll just sit out this year. Um, yeah, if Jim Lee comes, I have to get an advance from my wife. And she's not going to be pleased if I bring that subject up. She's going to be like, "What? You need how much?" Yeah, I need about $300. I mean, I will make that money this summer for my comic book budget, but she's gonna look at me like, "Well, make the money first, and then you can go." So we'll see. I'm again, Jim Lee. That's only if Jim Lee comes. That's a conversation we'll have only if Jim Lee comes. If he doesn't come, he's a busy guy. Jim Lee's going to be a very, very busy guy in 2024 for DC. I just feel like DC's going to, like Warner Brothers and DC, they're going to do a lot of investment into the brand to set up the DCU, the Guns DCU, because they're probably thinking, okay, this has got to be, we've got to change our fortunes here. This is really our last shot at it. And so, yeah, like I can see their marketing budget just making every last ditch effort to make sure people are talking about Superman Legacy. We're talking about, you know, what's the other one? You know, they're talking about the Midnighter. No, was it? Was it not Midnighter? But anyway, I can't think of the series now. Booster Gold, is that the standalone movie that's coming out? The Authority. The second print. Dude, I just want a whole rant of you shouldn't get books graded. I don't think you should get books graded. Unless you just want it for yourself. That's fine. Getting books graded for yourself is fine. And definitely don't pay for a graded book. But, dude, you're pretty good at grading, so I just put it in a clear Mylar backing board sleeve and top loader and put your own grade on it. Yeah. If you're gonna sell it, that's another thing. If you're gonna grade it and sell it, it's not a good time to do that right now. No, I think this whole CGC scandal is gonna kill the market. It's gonna kill the market because the demand is just not gonna be there anymore. I definitely wouldn't buy a 9.8 slab for what it's going at right now. Hell no. Unless I have like a guarantee that it's the the legit grade. It's a legit book. It's the original book. It's a legit grade. Even then, I'd be like, the way the market's trending, I'd be just like, fuck that. I'll wait. I'll sit and wait. That's how you get, stagflation. Stagflation is when like people don't buy shit because they think the price is going to go down. That was happening with the market even before this whole fiasco. I'm getting to economics here, but that was happening in the comic book market. People were just like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna wait till next year to get that key book, or because prices are going down. You know, the value of my money right now is worth more than the value of my money 10 years from now, right? So why would I spend my valuable money now when I can spend it 10, pick up that book maybe 2 years from now when it's dropped in price and my money is worth less, right? So that was already happening. Now you compound this like CGC garbage on top of that, right? You basically upend the credibility of CGC because they basically put out a bunch of reholdered graded books that are not those grades or those books. So now it drives the question, all right, which ones are legitimate slabs, which ones aren't? There's no way to tell unless you regrade them, like have somebody subjective enough to regrade them. But a 9.8 visually, you can probably see if it's not a 9.8, you could probably visually see why it's not a 9.8 and do the investigation or whatever. But that's who wants to do that? What collector is going to sit there and be like, hey, yeah, like you buy a slab because you trust that CGC did its job. So it's going to kill the slab market. And again, I was mentioning stagflation. People just aren't going to buy slabs. Slab prices are going to go down. This is going to affect just the value of every freaking slab book. So if you bought a 9.8 in the past 5 years, I feel freaking sorry for you because the whole, I mean, all our slabs just went down in value thanks to this whole fiasco. So for me, that book there that I paid, it's down already. It's probably going to go down even more. At the end of the day, I don't care. I overpaid for it, sure, but definitely not going to submit more books now, and I'm not going to pay freaking yesterday's prices for today's books. Hell no. So I guess it's a good and bad thing. It's good for collectors like me because now I go on a hunt. I can pick up these larger keys for less money. Um, so that's something I'm looking forward to next year. But hell no, I'm not buying slabs. You can pay me to buy slabs. But again, Agu, go and get the book graded if you want for the preservation aspect, but just preserve it yourself, dude. That's smarter. CGC's got to lower their prices. I mean, that's if they don't, they're just gonna. If they don't, they're gonna really see a drop in demand. They're gonna see a huge drop in demand. I mean, when you just basically crap all over your credibility, what's left at the end of the day? You know, I mean, the long lead times is one thing. That's not it eats away at your brand value a little bit, but not what your business model is built upon. When you lose credibility in your grading, that's a service you're selling. Hey, we can grade your books. This will be the market standard. When you when you crap on that, that's like kind of just saying like, hey, we've been a sham this entire freaking time, but continue to send books to us and pay us money. Don't do it. Wait, wait till they drop their prices, and then and wait till they drop their prices and they fix the systemic issues with the whole reholdering process. First of all, we're gonna get new slabs. We're gonna get new like designed new labels possibly. We're just gonna get a whole revamping, and they're gonna probably upcharge for that. Uh, and then we as collectors have to say, well, thanks, but no thanks. And then their business is gonna go to shit. That's when they're gonna drop prices, right? So I would hold out. Seriously, I would just wait till this whole freaking storm clears up and demand lower prices because seriously, $30 to get a book put in a case and graded when you can do the exact same thing for probably pennies to the dollar. Um, not, that's the way I look at it. I just don't, I didn't put a lot of stock into buying slabs or the value of slabs, even more so now with this whole mess. But Batman 608 second print is a book you want signed by Jim Lee. Other books. First off, the book, the most valuable Jim Lee book is a Batman book. Okay. It's a store exclusive. It's a Burbank, California, I think Batman variant. I forget the number. But it was like limited to, I think, a couple, maybe 1,000 copies or something. Just a local Burbank promotional exclusive book. that is the most expensive Jim Lee book. It's also the one of the rarest books. I don't think I'll ever get one, let alone if I get to see one, that'll be cool. I'm sure I'll be able to see one. There's 1,000 of them out there, so some collector's gonna show it off either on Instagram or something. But that book is, it's a cool grand. Um, if it's graded at a 9.8, it's probably three times that. So I mean, yeah, it's a cool book. I would love to have it, but I'm not gonna, if I don't have it, it's not the end of my collecting. It, it's it it would be nice to have the collection, but it's not like something that's like a grail. I wouldn't call it a grail for me. I just call it a really hard book to find and get. Um, but yeah, even if I were to find it and you were to offer it to me for like $700, which is lower than the grand it's valued at, I wouldn't want it. I'd only want it if it was like around maybe 300. I'd buy it for 300. Yeah, wouldn't care about the grade at that point would not be as important. I'd pay 300 for like a mid grade book in that. I think that you'll probably get it a mid grade copy of that for 300. Um, but again, those books are like so cherished. I don't think there would even be mid grade copies. It would just be like you get the book, you put it in a bag and board or whatever, and you just keep it in near mint, right? Because only collectors got their hands on that book. They knew how rare it was. So unless you're like the biggest idiot on earth, you didn't go home, read it, and then you know threw it somewhere um, and ruined the book. No, you probably kept it in really good condition. So I'd imagine all 1,000 copies out there are high grade. And again, I'd love to have the book, but not going to pay 1,000 for a modern Jim Lee book, no matter how rare it is. This is coming from a Jim Lee collector. Now maybe I'll get to a point where $1,000 isn't. It's like chump change for me, but I'm not there yet. So, um, yeah, and I would not move around or sell a lot of the books I have to get that into my collection. And it's just a book that's cool, but just because it's like a Jim Lee exclusive, like 1,000 copies were made, that doesn't necessarily make it valuable for me. You know, it's just kind of like big. It's not even a great cover, to be honest. So for me, I'd just be like, whatever, that's cool. You got a rare book, that's fine. Um, yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of people pick up this book now. People were kind of scoffing at this book, like, yeah, I'll just wait till after the movie and all this baloney and garbage. But, um, you know, they're picking it up now. It's funny. Yeah, I'll wait till after. Oh, I better pick it up. um, it's funny how like people who say, "Oh, like yeah, I don't buy into spec and all that," and they totally buy into spec. It's like I'm the same way. I kind of like try to convince myself that I can't be influenced and that I don't buy into spec. Um, that I just buy what I like and all this garbage. But dude, I am the most influenceable. Is that a word? Influenceable person on the planet. You tell me to go. This should this is, you should go buy this, or it's worth something. As long as I think it makes sense, you can convince me, right? Um, Crap, half of the stuff in my giveaway box is just like uh like spec and like you know, the flavor of the month kind of crap. Um, half of it isn't. Half of it is actually shit I like, but a lot of it. I'm trying to find a book where it was like I was influenced to buy it. I'm gonna just find the book here. Yeah, like this book, like Spider-Verse. Don't tell me you guys weren't influenced by the Miles Morales movie. Like it has a psychological effect on you. Um, the Spider-Verse stuff. I was never into Spider-Verse because I didn't watch the first movie. Second movie I have yet to see as well, but I did. It did garner more of my attention this time around. So what did I buy right around the time that movie came out? I bought 2 copies of Spider Verse, and I mean these are key books, great covers. This is a really nice cover there with all the. And I gotta say I'm a fan of Spider Gwen, based off all this, the influence, you know. I was a fan of Spider. Sorry, I was a fan of Gwen Stacy um, since I read her in the pages of ASM during the Romita run. So I've always been camp Gwen Stacy, or yeah, like Mary Jane Parker was great. She's great, but I've always leaned toward Gwen because of that initial introduction to Spider-Man. Um, but now that she's back as a superhero and like just a cool ass like Spider Woman, that that makes Gwen Stacy just that much. Like I'm a fan of the character, so um, yeah, like I kind of bought books based off. Hey, this is a key, Spider Verse kind of book. Let's pick it up. Kind of have a cover. It's not too big of a lift, but that was all psychologically influenced, and there's spec play there as well. Just all of that. So, um, but now it's in my freaking trade box, and yeah, but that happens to me all constantly. Like I will. So there's a difference between like shit I watch and I really like, and shit I don't watch that people say I should like, that influences me, right? It's like, oh man, this is the fucking best movie ever. And I'm like, really? Okay, people are kind of getting into this, buying this and all that. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe we'll try it out. Well, it's not so bad. All right, we'll buy a book here, we'll buy a book there. It's just kind of that. There's a difference between that and like really like this is I love like Wolverine, right? Wolverine. I love Wolverine, dude. That's an influence that came from me. Came from like reading comic books and all that. So I don't know, maybe I was influenced as a young age to like X-Men and like Wolverine, but it worked. Whatever influenced me back then, it freaking worked. The marketing, those marketing people, they know what they're doing. Yeah, yeah. Julie Carpenter, or whatever her name is. Original Spider Woman is spiking because she's in a movie. She's in a new series, Agatha. What is it, House of Harkness or something like that? Um, she's teased to be in that, but we've needed a Spider Woman. To be honest, I think Gwen Stacy should just be Spider Woman. Like it doesn't necessarily have to follow the comics at this point. You can just slip her into the role. I know that that's a different. It's like Sony stuff and MCU stuff. It's separate, but shit, man, just make Gwen Stacy Spider Woman. Make everybody happy. Julia Carpenter is a train wreck waiting to happen. Nice. Okay, cool. The volume one Spider Woman or the first appearance of Spider Woman. So I'm assuming it's volume one Spider Woman. That's nice. Yeah, yeah. The other thing I think people are waiting on is the Craven movie, which looks good. I don't know the few snippets I got from the Craven stuff. It looked decent. I like the actor that's playing him, the dude from Kick Ass. Um, he got really. He's a buff dude to begin with, but he really got jacked for the Craven role. I think he took some steroids or something, but he looks like way bigger. Yeah, dude, chill on the slab buying. I'm telling you, man, all that those prices are gonna drop. Chill on the slab buying for a bit, especially at Emerald. Okay, don't go crazy with slab buying until the market settles. Unless you get a like really good deal. That's the other thing. But right now, man, I'm telling you, the slab prices are gonna tank. The way the CGC debacle is playing out, and it's gonna tank everything. Just wait about a year. Just buy raws for now until the whole slab. Don't buy slabs this year. I'm telling you. Unless they are 90, what, $50? Yeah. Like seriously. You're gonna see that. You're gonna just see like shit. Like you're gonna see raw books going for higher than slabs. Well, maybe that's just an extreme, but my point is like this premium people have been putting on slabs. That's just all gonna go down the toilet now. You're gonna see people be like just literally like I'm not gonna look to buy slabs. Just kind of like you, unless they're $50, unless they're $60, right? Like a 9.8 that would have went for 300 is gonna go for 100 now. Literally is gonna go for 100 now. That this year's selling for 300, by next year it'll be 100. Trust me, it's gonna tank that much. Because you're gonna get a stagflation effect where nobody's gonna want to buy slabs, even if they're on sale and shit. You're just gonna be like, I'll just wait. It's what $30 now. I'll just wait. Like it's gonna get to that point, and CGC is gonna. Man, if I was a if CGC had a stock right now, I would sell that shit like instantly, because their business. I mean, this is the stuff. This is the kind of stuff that tanks businesses. These kinds of like operational, like, you know, faux pas. They tank like Fortune 500 companies. So they've got some serious PR and uh, PR crisis to manage. Um, what was the other thing? Yeah, we're talking about this Wolverine Deadpool. So I did go out and buy that book um, after the announcement, but mind you, it kind of was it. I don't want to say it was a FOMO thing, because I don't really fall into a FOMO kind of thing. I'm not the kind of person to be like, damn, if I don't get that book now, I'm never gonna get it. That's just never me. But it did put the book on my radar, because like that's a book I've been meaning to get. It's just I was gonna pick it up for like $35, right? Uh, or the dollar bin. That was a dollar bin book all day long. Even though it's a key first, you know, uh, matchup, first meetup. But when that announcement was made, it's kind of like, all right, now I got to pick up the book. I got to pick up the book before it gets like ridiculously out of reach. And luckily I got it in a trade because I was targeting it. I was like, hey, I want that book. So I was able to get that trade through. And it hasn't gone up a lot in value since that announcement, but it's definitely, we still have time. I mean, I can see once that first dead, so the Super Bowl, they're going to drop the first Deadpool trailer. Have you heard that announcement or the rumor of that? I mean, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. Super Bowl, you're gonna get the largest audience, so it makes sense. And they dropped this. I think the last Deadpool movie too. The trailer dropped on Super Bowl Sunday as well. So we're gonna get a Deadpool movie drop on Super Bowl Sunday. People are gonna freaking lose their minds, and that book is gonna just shoot up again. Because now what you've got sellers who are selling this at conflated prices. If they weren't, so you had sellers before that were selling them at maybe a little less than what they're going for. So I saw a lot of these like VF fine copies going for like 30 bucks, $30 to $50, right? And actually that's a good price to sell it at. If I'm wanting to move the book and I want to sell it, that's a good price, because you're gonna get people to buy it at that price, right? So that was like the first stage. The second stage, though, once that trailer drops, if I have that book and I'm selling it, now I can charge the full 100 that it's going for, because everybody else is going to be selling it for that. And the people that are wanting to buy that book at that point are, I say it all the time, you're late to the game, you pay more. So at that point, you're late to the game and you're going to pay that price. Now, the question is, and this is sort of a debate I've had on my channel, will it retain value? And I'm of the opinion it will not only retain the value, it'll probably, based on the reaction to the movie, it'll probably drive the value up. Not the slab prices though. For raw, I'm talking raw copies. They'll probably drive the you know value up for the raw copies. So I can see the price trend on that actually spiking up after the movie. Because now what you'll have is you'll have a bunch of collectors. Well, I don't want to say all, but we have a bunch of collectors who will decide to keep the book, not resell or sell. You'll have a bunch of sellers who don't have the book to sell. So they're clamoring to get the book to try and resell for a higher value. And yeah, you'll have a bunch of collectors who just want the book now. So you'll have this situation where the demand for that particular book, again, based off the movie and how well it does and all that. And there are a lot of copies of that book. So this is a real sort of what if scenario. But my prediction for that price to rise, this scenario has to happen. You're just going to see much more demand than available copies, but there are. And you're going to have collectors hoarding them and selling them at those conflated prices. So I kind of see the hoarding happening now. I saw a seller with like 6 copies of that at Grid City. 6 copies. Why do you have 6 freaking copies? Obviously, because you want to resell them. And he was reselling them for a very moderate, like moderately reduced price. He was selling for like 30 bucks, 30, 40, $50 a pop. Which is a discount, but that tells me he picked them up for probably like under 10 bucks or so. Like he was probably just picking them up early on in the spec stage and thought, man, if I could sell these for 30 bucks, I'll have, tripled, quadrupled my money. But again, the next stage of that speculation is the spike. Now, it's going against the trend. The trend is movie comes out, book tanks, okay? Because people's attention and focus shift. But let me tell you why this book is different. First off, it's a freaking cool ass cover. 1. 2, it's Adam Kubert. Okay, Adam Kubert, Wolverine. It's Wolverine. It's first Deadpool Wolverine. It's that cover is going to be immortalized in a movie scene that's going to have MCU ramifications for the next decade. So a decade, when I don't know if we're going to see Ryan Reynolds in the MCU, but something tells me the money, right? Ryan Reynolds is going to follow the money, so he's probably going to play the character until he dies. And you don't think that's going to that's not going to have a ripple effect? In fact, we're going to see Ryan Reynolds. We're going to probably not see Hugh Jackman anymore, but it's a big freaking cultural. It's going to be the biggest comic book movie of this relatively new decade. I mean, as great as Into the Spider-Verse and all that was, Deadpool with the Super Bowl Sunday ad coming out, and that scene and all the craziness with Taylor Swift and all this craziness shit you're going to see in this movie, you are going to have people talking about that movie for years to come. And you don't think you think people are just going to, oh yeah, I want to get rid of the book now that the movie's, one and done. I'm just gonna get rid of the book now. Hell no. You think I'm gonna get rid of that book or even want to sell that book? No. I'm gonna keep it. And I see people like now, even now, like, hey, I got the Wolverine 88. And they're showing it off on Instagram. And you think they're gonna get rid of the book after the movie comes out? Hell no. Maybe they might sell it. They might sell it, but they're not gonna sell it for they're not going to undersell it for sure. Even after the movie comes out, they're not going to undersell it. So, this is what leads me to believe that book is going to retain its value or gain value. It's not going to lose. It's not going to tank. You might see people selling it after the movie release. Pick it up then. That'll be your only little sliver of window to pick it up, maybe on a downtrend, because after that it's gonna spike back up. So again, I'm not prescient. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my opinion, and it's my educated opinion. You can disagree. You can. To me, it's an important book because I collect Wolverine. To me, and so like if you collect, like let's say you collect Harley Quinn, okay, and you could care less about that book, then fine. Then it's a book that you would never pick up, and if you just buy it for spec value and sell it for if you just follow the little movie spec buying trends, then fine, you'll probably have made some money. If you bought it low, sold it high, you'll have made some money. But I'm just saying that this book is going to buck a trend of those kind of movie spikes because it's a legitimate first meeting, and when you get first meetings that are kind of like immortalized in pop culture with a movie of this magnitude, that rarely happens. So take my advice with a grain of salt if you want, but I would pick that book up for $30. If you can pick it up for $30, do it. You could, and I'm not saying that you can't do it after the movie. You very may well be able to, but there's also a good possibility that you won't. And I can tell you right now, you're not picking up copies of that book for $30 after Super Bowl Sunday. Hell no. After Super Bowl Sunday, after that trailer drops, no one's going to be selling it for $30-$40. They're going to be selling it for well over $50, for sure. That I can pretty much bet on. If they're not already doing that now, right? If they're already not doing that now, then they will be after Super Bowl Sunday. All right, what are other things? Star Wars. I think they're people are talking about like potential directors for the new Star Wars movie, or I guess the reset of Star Wars. God, I wish they would reset it. I wish they would just erase that whole latter trilogy, the Rey Finn, Kylo Ren shit show, the J.J. Abrams. He should not have job ever again. How do you take the most beloved franchise and mess it up? How do you do that? I mean, I mean, he basically took what he thought was like a safe approach. Hey, let's just repackage what was in the first couple of movies. Package them in new design costumes, new spaceships, but we'll keep the exact same story, man. We'll do that, and then it'll be a success. How do you mess up Star Wars? God, jeez. Uh, but anyway, again, he should not be working. He should not. No one should give him a job after that. Okay. So now they're looking for anybody else. Well, they're looking for talented directors first off. And J.J. Abrams, like, don't get me wrong, I think he did a great job with the Star Trek. What were something like, Lost? We use the director of Lost or whatever. I get why his climb to consideration for that. He did put in a lot of work. Talented director, I'm sure, but just because you make a successful Star Trek movie doesn't mean you're going to make a successful Star Wars movie. And I don't know what factors led to some of the decisions in that in the three movies, but it just was bad, just bad planning, decision making, and I just love the fact that they never asked the fans, hey, what do you guys want? What should we do now that we have the chance to kind of redo everything? What would you? I mean, if they did that, they probably wouldn't be in this mess, the mess that they created. They probably wouldn't have created the shit that they produced. Yeah, and you had an opportunity with Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill to do something really impactful with that follow-up story. But now you can't, because Carrie's gone. Harrison Ford looks like he's retired. His Indiana Jones bombed. Looks like he's just retired from acting. He's probably not going to come back for anything. Mark Hamill, as great as his performance was in that movie, just wasted his entire effort. I'm sure the guy didn't enjoy getting up every morning and coming to that set in, Northern England or somewhere? And you can't rewrite them into a new. I mean, how are you going to do it? It's just like you can't race fans' memories either. Like, how can you say this is Star Wars? So you really have to reset it. You have to reset it in a way. Honestly, this is ironic. This is an ironic thing. The real solution is create a movie in between the two events that you do an Abrams Star Trek. You like rewrite the timeline, like a time changing event that creates a new alternate timeline with the same set of characters. But to do that, you have to cast a young Leia, you have to cast a young Han, you have to cast a young Luke, and you have to create this sort of space time continuum event and create a new timeline. And you have to convince fans that that's how we're going to move past this debacle. I'm ready to buy a scenario like that. I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready to turn the page on the, what is it, the new order? What they call them? The first order? Oh, Jesus. First order. It basically ruined my childhood right there. Okay, so that was a Star Wars rant. I've ranted about CGC. I've ranted about Star Wars. I've ranted about the Mariners, the Seahawks. Oh, I don't know if I want to go down that route. I could rant about something that's been on my mind, but I just won't go there. It's just too controversial. It's just a little too controversial to touch. So we won't go that route. Because people have very strong opinions one way or another, but as do I. But we won't go down that route. So we'll avoid that topic altogether. Christmas, yeah, we were talking about Christmas. So I talked about my favorite Christmas memory. What people eat for Christmas, like I guess ham, turkey, some form of like a big festive dinner. When I was a kid, we definitely went all out for Thanksgiving dinner. My parents would make turkey and do all that for Thanksgiving, but they didn't do it for Christmas. We didn't have big fancy Christmas dinners. We pretty much ate Korean food for Christmas. There wasn't anything special. It was kind of like, yeah, just another day of here's Christmas dinner. It's the same shit you had last week. So that wasn't, again, my parents didn't take Christmas all that seriously. It was more of a cultural kind of disconnect from it. I don't know if you've seen Korean videos that talk about Christmas. There's a great Instagram channel, or I should say Instagram, I guess ID. Her name is Tressani. Tress Unni, I think, is the account. But it's like Tress, TRESS, and then Unni is UNNIE. But go follow her. First of all, I want to, if she's watching or if we ever meet, I'm giving her a shout out. She's local to Bellevue, the east side is where I live. Which was a complete because I was following her and I thought she was like, I was for certain she was like lived in Korea somewhere or like New York or Southern California somewhere. She has this massive following. But I really like her videos because she like just talks about Korean culture and stuff. They're really entertaining, funny videos. Like she has this like comedic sense about her channel. But then I learned, man, she's like local to where I live. So that made me like kind of like her even more. But she put out this great video like Korean view Christmas more as like a couples event, and this is totally true. Like you go to Korea and you go to Korea during Christmas time, it's a complete it's completely made for single people or just romantic kind of partners. So single people to go out with their friends and just party up, drink, and kind of like New Year's, right? So you go to a party and you party up, or if you're dating someone, to go on a nice dinner date, like movie night kind of like experience, buy each other gifts, exchange gifts, and that's Christmas for Koreans. Like it's not a family thing. The family thing is like Chuseok, which is like Korea's version of Thanksgiving, and New Year's Day, which is like the big family thing. Like you go all out and you make food all day long and eat all day long kind of event. Um, so New Year's and Chuseok are the big family meal type holidays. So Christmas again wasn't a family thing in Korea. It just never was. So growing up in my household, my parents did go out of their ways to buy us gifts and kind of make Christmas Christmassy at times. Um, we didn't have a tree every year, but there were there were years where we either had a fake tree or maybe I think there were two times we had a real tree. Um, but that was like when we were older and we're just like, let's get a tree this year. And they're like, all right, you guys pick it out. And my sister and I would go and pick out a tree. That was later though, but like economics and stuff have a lot to do with it, but more so it's just cultural priorities. My parents didn't prioritize Christmas, even though my sister and I wanted it, right? We wanted to have what we were seeing on television, like, oh, we want to have the Christmas tree and all the stockings and the big Christmas meal, but something we never got, um, which is fine. Um, we kind of like my wife's Japanese, and so they have this sort of the same cultural connection to Christmas as Koreans do, and so we don't overdo it on Christmas as well. Like she just refuses to get a tree because of the mess it makes, and I'm apt to agree with her. It makes a big mess. It is nice when it's up, but it's just a hassle to clean it up. So I've been trying to like steer her toward, well, let's get a fake tree, like a nicer fake tree that we can just reuse every year and at least create those Christmas memories for Leo. I think she's slowly coming on board with that. Um, we've got a felt tree right now that she uses, and she puts the gifts under the felt tree. It's literally against the wall. It's this like felt tree with lights on it. It's quite sad to be honest, but it's what my wife wants to do. She doesn't want to get like a fake tree, um, and I'm not gonna like try to force Christmas traditions on her, but she's learning. She's learning like, hey, Thanksgiving is a thing we should do every year. She's learning that, even though she hates turkey. Leo likes turkey. So I see her just giving in on that. And I think Christmas too. I think as Christmas gets to be more of a tradition in her household, she's gonna put up the fake tree and do all the decorations and stuff. Leo seems to he's now knowing holidays and stuff, so um, it's getting to that point. So that'll be fun. It'll just be fun to kind of have the Christmases that I missed out on as a kid to have that for Leo, at least like a foundation of it. It doesn't have to be like Hallmark, like you know, Hallmark postcard, Hallmark card type Christmas, but um, Something in the ballpark would be nice. What are things that are just like cool to talk about? Um, I guess not much. I guess. Oh yeah. There's been some news about the whole Jonathan Majors getting fired from the MCU after the jury found him guilty of harassment and abuse. Um, so they're recasting him, I guess, as King. But apparently, King is so important that they have to recast him. Right? It's like they've introduced Kang. I guess there's some kind of like indication that Kang's coming back, or maybe it's just that she's just so ingrained in what they've already written and are ready to produce that um, they have to like. It's like they're at a point where like, hey, we've done the casting, we've paid the writers, and it's at this stage. It's like we can't just write off the character. We have to recast and replace him. So that's fine. I just don't see why it has to be Kang. It's like there's so many other, like, you know, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm just saying, like, is it at the end of the day, if they don't have Kang, is it gonna kill anybody? I don't think so. Um, and yeah, hopefully they're talking about Will Smith possibly. What's going on, man? I feel like we're living in some kind of weird, like Twilight Zone when it's coming to like Marvel content. It's just a weird Twilight Zone we're living in. Or just I think comic book collecting is entering. It's going to enter some kind of weird Twilight Zone where you have the script flipped. Marvel's is going to go right. Because I don't see, first of all, Secret Wars, that was a hard sell to begin with. Because Secret Wars implies, first of all, if you're going the Hickman route, they're just blowing up the entire like existence. They're creating like this amorphous like or time and like it's just like one. All the realities have merged into one, right? It, how are you going to sell that to most audiences? That's a hard sell for a story, to be honest. I mean, you can sell it to me as a comic book. I'd buy it as a comic book fan, but that's a hard sell for my wife. If my wife goes to watch that movie and you tell her, hey, man, there's no, like all the parallel universes are now just one. I mean, isn't that what we're living in right now? Like, I'm like, it's like to wrap the head around the science fiction part of that is for going to make our head explode. So that was a hard sell to begin with. The old school Secret Wars is a little bit of an easier sell because you're just transporting people and making them fight and shit. So that's makes more sense. But something tells me they're going the Hickman route with all this Kang multiverse type nonsense. So we'll see. I am not. I had high expectations for Secret Wars. I was like, dang, this is gonna be good. They're gonna build up to it, and they're gonna, you know. But more and more, I'm thinking, oh, if they go the Hickman route, and they have Kang, and somehow it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I just see it as being this, again, kind of like Star Wars 2. Just like no one asked the fans what made sense. And when you do stuff like that, there are consequences. Um, you can tell, like, Into the Spider-Verse, as even though it's an animated movie, when they brought Spider-Man 2099, right? When they brought his character and they just added such a badass layer on top of the character as he was introduced in the comic books, they just added a better layer of who that character is. There's a lot of thought that went into that process. Like, we're bringing in Spider-Man 2099. Okay, yeah. And they really developed, the Miles Morales character to be his own. It's not Peter Parker, right? He's his own Spider-Man. And that just opened up the possibilities that, look, it's not necessarily the radioactive spider biting you. It's kind of like who you are as a person that dons the suit, right? So that was just a very smartly written, well thought out, comic book conscious movie. Now, not every production has that um, intelligence. I mean, you just got to have a good director, good writer, like writers who understand, right? Not to say the Marvel writers don't have that, but sometimes when a project is so big and you're just like, hey, we've got to write a big blockbuster movie, and like that just the pressure of that, having to do that, sometimes when you're in that ideation room, you kind of forget source material, like that you should be looking through it and, hey, the fans like this, the fans like that. And if you ignore a lot of that, that's where you run into these issues. So we see it more. I mean, DC did that for years, for decades. Yeah. Not that I shouldn't say they ignored the source material. They took the source material and they put it in a way they thought would, you know, generate a good response. And it's harder to generate that response these days with all the different expectations people have coming into a movie. So people just are different, right? It's hard to cater to all audiences today. It was probably easier maybe 20, 30 years ago to do that. Or even 20 years ago, it was easier to do that, but it's much harder to do that now. But when you're able to, again, it comes down to like just good planning and thoughtful uh, planning. You'll get good results. And so that's what I love about the gun projects. I think right now, um, Like James Gunn gets it. James Gunn understands DC's legacy. He understands a lot's on the line, but at the same time, you got to kind of give fans what they want, kind of give fans a little bit of what they don't expect. Like they're just kind of like a formulaic way to get people talking about the film, excited about the film, and ultimately buy into the film. But when you're just being too formulaic, um, like DC had been, like Marvel is doing, it tends to blow up in your face. So, G.I. Joe. Snake Eyes was an awful film. It was an awful film. It wasn't awful because they made Snake Eyes Asian, although I know a lot of people have an issue with that. I do too, to some degree, because I think it works better as Tommy Storm Shadow being Asian, Japanese, and um, Snake Eyes being a white dude, blonde hair, blue eyed white dude. Um, just because of that, two buddies or two friends crossing that cultural divide and building a bond through what essentially was their war buddies, right? They fought in Vietnam together. That's the origin. So in that sense, Snake Eyes is a complete like erasure of that history. And that was my main problem with the film. Um, so there, I do understand, I do empathize with that sentiment. Why they turn him Asian? Yeah, I get it. Um, but Snake Eyes wasn't Asian in that movie. He was biracial. He was truly multicultural. So he was still American. He was Asian American, whereas Tommy was Japanese. Um, but in the comic book, Tommy is Japanese American. Snake Eyes is just a white American, right? So there's just a lot of, and this is where I'm saying like that thoughtfulness. That why don't we look at the source material, be thoughtful about it, and bring that in a new, exciting kind of different way that audiences will buy into. Why did they have to? And so I see a lot of comic book fans complaining about modern books, that modern writers are taking too much liberty with the characters. They're trying to make the characters their own, like the writers speak from the writer's perspective or portray too much of the writer's perspective. I mean, you're going to get that to some degree, but apparently what people are complaining about is like they're just repurposing a prototype into a new prototype. Like it's like a different character altogether. And that's what they're having an issue with. And that's what they did with Snake Eyes. And they're probably doing it with a lot of different characters as well. Um, you know, definitely you can do it to a certain degree. Like, I think, I forget who I was having this conversation with, but we're talking about Superman. And a lot of people love the Henry Cavill Superman, right? Like, oh, he's the Superman. Look at his physique and all that. Like, yeah, if you look at Superman in the comic books, I get it. He's ripped. But I think I think it was Damien or someone else, but we were commenting on what makes Superman Superman. This is why Christopher Reeves is so brilliant. Is Christopher Reeves is a he's a big guy. He's like what 6'4", uh, real athletic build. He's not like Henry Cavill, like bench press like a car build, but he's an athletic, just a naturally athletic, buff built guy. So when he plays Superman, he obviously fits the part. But what he did brilliantly was when he transformed to Clark Kent, he did the slouch. He didn't, he wore kind of the clothes. It didn't, like, he could wear a suit and it just kind of like hang on him and not make him look, even though he's a big guy, like his mannerisms and everything, he fit into like a mild mannered reporter, right? Just a dude that just kind of didn't stick out and was like, hey, I'm not Superman. You couldn't look at him and be like, hey, that's Superman. This is Clark Kent, right? So it's a real sort of fight. You have to play that balance between Jekyll and Hyde, play two different characters. But Henry Cavill, great Superman in terms of the physique. But when he turned into Clark Kent, it was just like he just put on glasses and was like, dude, it's like, you want to see me bench press the desk? Kind of like, it wasn't, there was, you get my point, right? There has to be a suspended level of disbelief when you go from hero to alter ego. It's that way in Batman too. You have to be able to play Bruce Wayne, and then you have to be able to play Batman. Like, these are, Bruce Wayne is Batman, but I'm saying, like, the persona of Bruce Wayne is like, hey, like this, and then when people are gone, you're like, so it is kind of that same dynamic. And anyway, I do like the casting of this British Superman guy. He's getting jacked for the role, but he's just like he kind of reminds me a lot of Christopher Reeve in terms of his height, his physique. He's not like an overly buff dude. He's just kind of like a slim, really in shape, athletic build type guy. So I think that, and he's good looking. That's not going to hurt Superman. I think having a good looking Superman is in line with the expectations, right? I don't know about Lois Lane yet, but I think from what I've heard, they cast a really intelligent, talented actress to play Lois Lane, and I think that's always going to help. You don't always have to have the most beautiful Lois Lane, but she has to be smart. She has to be like, talk a mile a minute, and just kind of be that, if you're thinking of like a really smart journalist, right? Somebody who puts their life on the line to get a story. The values are there, right? You want to get to the truth. You're kind of investigative. You're questioning. You're always kind of not satisfied with the status quo. Like, it looks like the actress they cast is gonna be able to play a good Lois Lane. The real, I think, casting magic that they did was they got the Lex Luthor. Okay, I have not seen the dude in this with his head shaven yet, but all indications are like he's going to be, because first of all, he's a skinny guy, good build, but skinny guy. Kind of the physical sort of gets match of Clark in a ways. He's going to be bald, but it'll be interesting to see how they develop Lex. And I know James Gunn gets it. So I know James is going to be like, you know what? We got to start in Smallville. We're going to establish Clark and Lex's relationship in Smallville and maintain that relationship into the professional world. So it's going to be, I anticipate there's going to be some, you know, some telling of the origin story. Or maybe they'll just put them in a scenario where that's all, because we all know the origin story, right? Unless, well, I can't speak for kids these days. Kids, it's funny, like how many comic book fans like you talk to and you say, "Hey, have you watched the original Superman, Christopher Reeve Superman?" They say, "No, I've heard about it." It's like, but yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I've been meaning to watch it. Is it me, or do people just like not watch good movies? What is it? But yeah, there's a lot of people who haven't watched Superman, surprisingly, and maybe they do have to retell the origin story. But I'm thinking people have watched Smallville, so I'm just like, okay, let's have Smallville be the new. I'm fine with the Smallville origin story because it's all the basics are there, right? Lana Lane's first love. Lois comes in. Lois shouldn't be. Lois comes later in life, right? But assuming she comes to Smallville High and all that, and then they eventually get together and they work together as reporters. That's fine. It's a little accelerated version of where I'd like to be, but at the end of the day, it's not something terrible. It's like you got the Kents, you got Luther, you got Lionel Luther. You just got a lot of like fun things to work with there. But assuming James Gunn, because James Gunn's a fan of Smallville, which everybody should be, um, James Gunn, like, let's say, stays true to that Smallville history. So we know, okay, Lex and Clark are going to be frenemies, some kind of form of frenemies. I prefer them to be just enemies from the start. I mean, I don't. What I mean is like in the movie, right? They could be friend. They could have been high school friends. That maybe again, it has to be a scenario where Lex blames Clark for his hair loss, because that's what happens in the comics, right? So he has to be like vengefully, like intent on Clark's, um, or sorry, Superman's demise. Not Clark. He blames Superman for hair loss. So he has to be like, pathologically intent on the demise of Superman. And yeah, as long as they can establish that kind of relationship, I don't know how they were going to do it, but as long as they establish that, good things are going to happen. And so, yeah, like I think more than Deadpool, more than any revamping of Star. I mean, I guess if they revamp Star Wars, it would get me excited, but it would, because they messed it the first one up. It's going to be a hard sell, right? But Star Wars being Star Wars, you're going to pay money to see it. Um, I would imagine. I don't know. Maybe some people wouldn't, but if they came out with Star Wars like a new trilogy, like the real episode 7, 8, 9. I'd go out and watch that. But I think the biggest thing I'm most looking like the thing I'm looking the movie I'm most looking forward to is Superman Legacy. Um, More so than Deadpool Wolverine. I mean, I really want to see Deadpool Wolverine, but I'm not hanging any expectations on that. I'm just gonna go watch it and have a good time. But I'm not gonna expect it to like because Deadpool 1 was great. It's funny. Deadpool 2 was great. It's funny. But they weren't like great movies at the end of the day. It's not like I said, "Oh man, Deadpool 1 is like my favorite movie of all time." No, so I'm not anticipating Deadpool 3 to be something that that amazing. But Superman, the original movie, is one of my top movies of all time, and it's what birthed my love affair with the character. It wasn't comic books that made me fall in love with. So this is the thing: like, I fell in love with that movie and the character from the movie before I even understood the legacy that built that movie, which was comic books and the cultural just love affair with the story of Superman, right? But after that movie, I got into Superman. I read comic books. Um, I read Superman comic books. I read actually a lot of different comic books, but always in my heart, it's like Superman was the guy, the superhero that I could rank him, and he would always be number one. So it's a no-brainer. That's why Superman Legacy is the movie I'm most looking forward to, and the most I'm really hoping. I don't expect it to be better than the original Christopher Reeve movie. I don't think anything will top that. That's kind of like the foundational standard, uh, if you will. But I've been saying from day one, they should just freaking remake that movie in a modern setting and just go from there. I think Gunn is I think what he's going to do is he's going to make Lex. He's going to introduce Lex in the first one, and we're not going to really know maybe what Lex's true intentions are until later, or maybe in the first movie it'll set up that moment where Lex loses something and he blames Superman. Okay, I can totally see that something like that happening, and then that sets up the second movie where he's hell bent on the destruction of Superman and planning his demise, and it's setting it up that way, um, which is literally like what the original movie is, to a degree. We have Lex as the main villain, but in I think Gunn's version, it's not just wanting money and power and destroying the West Coast so we can get real estate. That's it's kind of a weak plot point, but Lex literally destroys California to like increase the value of um, the fault line. Like the fault land west of the fault line falls into the ocean. Land east of the fault line is his, which he develops into commercial property. Again, it was the late 70s, so I think movies today are going to do that a little bit smarter. But yeah, it's going to be a very well thought out. And this is just my machinations working. I'm sure James Gunn is thinking up something much smarter, much more basically a better thought out story than what I'm thinking. But my point is, they're going to establish a relationship that changes, that leads to Lex becoming the real dominant figure in as the villain in the second one. So I think we can at least anticipate 2 movies, and they're going to market the F out of Superman Legacy. I'm telling you, man, you're going to get Super Bowl ads, you're going to get all kinds of crazy promotional stuff, a toy line for sure, right? Because we want kids to be excited about Superman again. And that's my big prediction. I think as big as Deadpool is going to be at the box office, I think Superman is going to set a box office record. It's going to set a box office record when it comes out. Yep, that's my call. That's my prediction. All right, looks like I talked everybody's ear off out of the chat, so guess I should. Oh man, it's late. Man, I've been ranting on for 2 hours and 41 minutes. All right. Peace out. Send me some trade offers. Don't buy slabs for a while until this market stuff gets settled. Yeah, keep buying comic books for sure. Keep buying comic books. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.